So I wanted to share something about why I got involved and enjoyed over the last couple of years writing There's Not an App for That with Simon Robinson and Gary Marsden. I guess it began with reading other books. So I sat down and I came across two books in particular. The first was Sherry Turkle's Alone Together, and the other was Jaron Lanier's You're Not a Gadget. Beautifully written books, in my opinion, and books that challenged me as a person who's for many years looked into new technologies and how they might connect with what people want to do in their everyday lives. Sherry Turkle's book raised the worry that perhaps through all the new technologies, through Skype, through mobile devices, through even the web, that we were more and more getting disconnected from each other. And as a father of young children, seeing my children forever looking down at the screen and tapping away, that certainly resonated with what I was seeing in my life. And then Jaron Lanier's book, You're Not a Gadget, spoke of the way in which computers, services, apps were all perhaps turning us into automaton who are providing data, interacting with services, feeling that we're part of something, part of a crowd, but in fact we were losing a lot of what we are as individuals. And both those books are great to read, and they're not, as some people have portrayed them, techno-Luddite books or negative books against technology, but they raise a real challenge to people like you and to people like me. So Jaron Lanier's book talks about, well, how would we redesign something like Twitter so that you could give more of yourself and you could have a more persistent sense of being rather than the transient tweet of 140 to 160 characters. And Sherry Turkle's book really puts a challenge there for us as designers and developers, asking us, what more can we do for the future generation? Now, the book that we've written, There's Not an App for That, really is our letter back, as we say in the book, to Sherry Turkle, our response to Jaron Lanier and others who've raised questions about how we might design better. We hope that it will be a really hopeful book, a book that will point to radical alternatives that have come out of labs, there are demos that are available, to get you thinking about how you would move your users heads up from the screen to confront the world face on, to be part of a real crowd around them, to express their individuality, whilst at the same time taking advantage of all of the great new technologies that are emerging.